So yeah, our digital accessibility open forum panel is next. These are experts. They're going to allow you to ask questions and answer some of the most common questions. So Amy Hepler, Phoebe Simon, and John Cotter. Let me get this started.
I think so.
Hello? Oh, yep, mine's on.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I guess that one's on too.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm Amy Hepler.
Yep.
I'm the lead accessibility developer here at DIT.
I'm Phoebe Simon. I'm a web strategist, and I manage the DubBot software that monitors accessibility for all websites.
I'm John Cotter. I'm a digital experience and accessibility specialist with NCDIT.
Thank you. Want to just say one quick thing. Does everybody know about Title II and what it is? Sorry. Okay, well, let's kick off some questions.
Okay, well, let's get to, we're going to do a little bit of warm-up exercises.
Yeah.
So, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you've ever increased the font size on your device. I see a lot of you. Raise your hand if you used your phone in bright sunlight and couldn't see the screen. Awesome. Raise your hand if you've ever tried to click on the tiny button on your phone and you missed it. Raise your hand if you filled out a form on your phone where your keyboard covered submit. Raise your hand if you've gotten frustrated because a form wouldn't tell you what you did wrong. Okay, and raise your hand if you ever yelled, "I am not a robot," to CAPTCHA. Okay, so everybody here has raised their hand at least once, and this goes to show how accessibility is in our everyday lives.
It's true. One of the questions that we get asked the most, well, first we're going to ask that people think about questions that they might have about accessibility. There's a microphone here at the center, but let's be mindful, we only have a very short time for this panel, so if you do have a question, please don't hesitate to ask it, but we're also going to give you our contact information at the end, so if we don't get to you, we will get to you if you email us. But one of the questions that often comes up for us is, when thinking about Title II, do websites that are behind a login need to meet accessibility standards? Now, my first question back to you is, does everybody know what Title II is? That looks like a lot of no's. I mean, I see a couple, of course, you would know, but a lot of us maybe don't know. So, Amy, do you want to quickly go over what that is?
As Tina had mentioned earlier, Title II is a DOJ rule that requires all state and local government digital resources, websites, applications, meet a certain criteria to make it accessible for everybody. And these are called the Web Accessibility Content Guidelines, or WCAG, WCAG. And you can think of these as a blueprint that you can use for your site. To Phoebe's question, we get this a lot. Well, does that apply to my sites that are behind a login? Title II applies to public accessible websites behind a login. So if you have a site that the public accesses, regardless if they log in, that must meet the Title II guidelines. And for the state, the compliance date is April of 2026. If we have any local government here, it depends on your entity size. If you're smaller than 50,000, you have another year. Now, that doesn't leave you off the hook for your intranet sites, for your employee-only accessible intranet sites. These, while they don't fall under Title II and have a compliance date, they fall under other civil accessibility laws, equal opportunity. So they too are required to be accessible.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. While you're thinking about your questions, we just are putting some ideas of topics up here to maybe get your juices flowing. But we'd love to, this is a panel, so throw the questions at us. Please come up to the microphone here in the middle and let us know what your accessibility questions are.
I'm going first. I'm Nicole Shoemaker. I'm in the IT department at Wake County. I have lived and breathed digital accessibility for the last year, trying to self-educate. Absolutely love the resources you guys provide. So my most burning question right now is this. The Title II states, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't have it memorized, we are responsible for ensuring accessibility of public content provided either directly or through contractual, licensing, subscription, or other arrangements. And I am trying to understand what other arrangements includes and excludes, particularly because I've got departments like our housing department and human services where, let's just take housing for example, their website has a page with dozens of links to local housing resources, homeless shelters for women and children, food pantries, things like that. So they're local agencies. We definitely have a relationship with them. We are sharing links to their websites from our website. Is that our responsibility to ensure that that content is accessible under the phrase other arrangements?
So your question was, when you link to another person's resource, are you responsible for the accessibility of that resource, even though you didn't build it, you're just linking to it? Is that the question?
Well, that's one example. My main question is more generally the definition of that other arrangements, because the contractual arrangement is very obvious, subscription, license, very easy to define, but other arrangements is very broad.
It is, it's very broad, and I mean, we're not a team of lawyers up here, we're a team of accessibility specialists, so it's hard to answer that, what does that really mean? I would say consult your general counsel that to get a good answer to that. We've consulted our general counsel about certain questions, legal type questions, and we've gotten some good responses, but that's a great one, and we would need to do some research and look more into that. Did you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you read the Title II rule, they leave a lot open for interpretation, as you've seen. And even the examples that they give that are exceptions, they use the language, this may be an exception. Well, that's not very helpful, right? I would say anything that is on your behalf posted on another site, if it's applying for your resources or services, then I would make sure that that's accessible if you can. Now, I know that's hard because sometimes leaders are living on other people's websites and you don't have any control of that, but if there's any way that you can, I would do that. And as John said, yeah, the other definition is really broad, so we can get an understanding of that and come back and encourage you to see your general counsel as well.
What about the question about linking out to another resource, another website, linking out to it?
Oh yeah, so if you link to something that you don't control, how can you be responsible for that, right? So when you can, try to link to content that you trust and you would trust, to give to other people. But If you didn't make it, you're not responsible for it. If North Carolina built it, if you built it, if you had a third party build it on your behalf, then it is your responsibility and it should be accessible. Great question, thank you.
Good morning, my name is Victoria Hudson. I serve as Environmental Health Director in Orange County. I have a question about public records that are currently accessible, that are often PDFs, and what's going to happen when people have to log in. I'll give you examples like the Register of Deeds documents and the documents that we maintain for environmental health. They're all public record now, and what is the expectation, or what are you hearing that other communities are doing to take care of these kinds of public records that are PDF?
Great question, great question. Do we need to repeat that question? Did everyone hear it okay? Okay. Do you want to take it? Go ahead.
Can I ask, do the PDFs that you're hosting behind the login, are they specific to a person?
Pass it.
Currently, they're not behind a login.
Okay.
They're all publicly accessible.
Okay.
And so they would not be something that would be considered personal information, obviously, but it would be like the public records, like when you look up a deed, that renders as a PDF when you click on that little button.
So it's basically informational, so if somebody wants to use your service, that would fall under, if it's, it would be applicable, right?
Yep.
It is
Yeah.
It would need to be accessible.
It would need to be accessible.
If you're publishing a document that someone needs to be able to access government services, get something from the government, then the ADA says that after the April date, those documents need to be accessible.
Yeah,
And if you can get it accessible
that's
before then.
a tremendous bad feeling I have right now.
Oh yes, yes. Yes, I felt that
those,
come
those,
over the
those
entire
deeds
room.
from 1600s where, it's King Charles's land grant
Yes.
that's written in some sort of cursive that nobody can read.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those, yeah, I'm having a moment just now. Sorry,
Yeah.
y'all watched me just stroke out right there. But anyway, so yes, I think that our local government is going to be putting things behind some kind of fascist login that's just going to maybe check the checkbox that it's a login and everything's still going to be publicly accessible.
Yeah.
When you say, you mean publicly available? Publicly available, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Given that you have so many, the strategy that John put up for PDFs would be very helpful. And I would recommend that you look at creating some kind of roadmap. That can be helpful if it comes down to it and you're in front of a judge. You have this roadmap of what you've done and what you're planning to do.
Yeah, let me talk about that strategy a little bit. So we published a resource on it.nc.gov under the /accessibility. There's a document section in there, and in there we published something that we're calling the strategy to remediate a large PDF library. And so that would be a really great resource to help give you a strategy. What do we do with all these documents? We got thousands of them. What do we do? So briefly, the strategy is you're going to categorize and prioritize your documents into 4 categories. What are you going to retire? What are you going to pull offline so that it's not a problem, nobody can get it? What do we just not need to be online anymore? What are you going to convert to HTML? Because HTML is it's a lot easier to make HTML content accessible than documents, PDFs. What are you going to archive? That means keep it online, but it qualifies for an exceptions, which Phoebe can talk about in a second. And then what are you going to actually remediate? What are you going to make accessible? So that's the strategy, and look for that online. We could send that link out later possibly, but go ahead and talk about the exceptions.
I do want to just reiterate that John and Amy have put together a really great set of resources for everyone about remediation and about the first steps to take, because it is overwhelming. I hate to even bring up exceptions, because I think people are like, "Oh, that's exciting. What do I not have to do?" But there are certain exceptions to the DOJ ruling on PDFs, and Again, consult your legal team as you're thinking about what maybe I don't have to remediate, because there are some rules about what you can let go. But again, let's just try to see what we have. And if you need to look at the number of PDFs you have, come see me back here. We can go through it via DubBot, and it'll show you how many PDFs are on your site, where they're linking from on your website, and then we can see if they have some of the accessibility requirements already in place.
And one thing to add to that, even if your PDF is an exception, if somebody requests an accessible version of it, legally, you must provide one.
And the deadline, according to the DOJ, is April 24, 2026. So coming up, that's the deadline for state governments.
Right.
Local governments, it's extended a little
Over
bit.
50,000.
North Carolina loves a PDF. They just love PDFs.
Yeah, we really do.
Let's move away.
Great question, thank you.
Any other questions?
I got one for Phoebe. What is the most commonly reported accessibility issue in DubBot?
Great question. So for those of you that don't know, DubBot is a software as a service crawler that we have contracted with that will crawl a website and identify accessibility issues, misspelled words, broken links, you name it, we crawl it. It's a great resource, and it's free to all of the North Carolina state agencies. So I have broken it into two different categories. So we have the agencies that are on the Digital Commons platform and the just all of the state agencies, whether they're on the platform or not. Two of the most frequent issues that come up is not having a title for an iframe, which we can talk about in a minute if you like. And for those not on the Digital Commons platform, it's color contrast. That is consistently the most frequently found issue.
Text contrast.
Text contrast, or button contrast, or link contrast, which is a fairly simple thing to fix and correct and identify. So please, let's leverage DubBot and at least pick the low-hanging fruit that we can get fixed.
Secretary has a question.
Oh, I have a question. I'm going to give it to Amy then. I don't want to answer. Oh.
Yeah, let's give it to Jim.
What if I want to get on the Digital Commons platform?
Oh.
Yay!
You have a website?
Huh.
Come on.
So I can just.
You got a
I can
website?
just
What's your
sign up?
website?
How many of y'all want to sign up? And let them take care of it.
Tina.gov.
There you go. And then my other question is, are there any AI tools that help convert PDFs to HTML
Yeah.
and then make it fast and easy for y'all to do it to where you're not spending all your time doing it because there's a tool that can help you while they crawl the rest of the websites? Just asking.
I'll take
And
it.
if not, I can give you the answer.
I can certainly answer that first question about how do you get on the Digital Commons platform. We are ready, willing, and able. And if you would like to get on the Digital Commons platform, Yelena Telenker is right here in the front row. She would be delighted to take your information, and we can get that started. As far as AI resources to convert PDFs to HTML, I think John might.
Yeah, so our team does not provide that at this time, but I'm sure as more and more people say, help, we got a lot of PDFs, what do we do? It is a very tedious manual process to remediate PDF documents. So there are services that you can hire, and you can just send out your PDF and it'll come back all pretty and remediated. Then you can also do a lot of the stuff yourself. Now, as far regarding AI tools, there are some companies that promise AI tools. Even, I believe, even Adobe, Adobe's uses AI as well. They also have an API that you can purchase to set up the system where you can just drop your PDFs into kind of a bucket, and then it'll automatically do some PDF tagging, and it'll use some AI to figure out, make some decisions that a human would need to make based on the visuals of the document, and then it'll code all that stuff up. So there's tools coming out, and I'm sure there's going to be more and more and more coming out as this April date approaches and all the states start sending messages up to managers.
So maybe we could follow up with them as that's in our AI accelerator and we're about to announce it coming out. So maybe
Yes,
we can send a note out about which tools that we will be helping with.
absolutely.
We have a question from a deaf participant. Okay. Can I borrow your microphone first?
Of course.
Hi, my name is Dara Basil, and I work with DHHS. I work with the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Program Lead for the Division of Mental Health, Substance Use Services, and Developmental Disabilities. What I've noticed here in North Carolina is we have 1.3 million people with a hearing loss. So that means that for the state of North Carolina, we have thousands of deaf and hard of hearing, deafblind employees throughout the state. One of the things that I've noticed that when we have other agencies across, state agencies providing webinars, there's always an issue with them not knowing how to kind of make it accessible. And they think that captioning is accessible enough. But captioning is English, and a lot of people use American Sign Language as their first language. So we need that accommodation and accessibility to have sign language interpreters present in webinars. Many of the platforms are not accessible. WebEx is absolutely not accessible. Zoom, so far, has been the most accessible as far as like managing video tiles and et cetera. So what is the plan moving forward with how we can make sure that accessibility for deaf, hard of hearing, and deafblind employees in the state of North Carolina?
Awesome question.
Thank you. Well,
Okay. Yeah, I'll take it. So right now, we are aware that Zoom is the most accessible. However, we are on Teams, but we are learning. Even with this conference, we have ASL interpreters. This is the first conference at the state that I'm aware of that has the interpreters here. So it is something that is on our radar. I'm not sure quite how yet we will address that, but it is.
I think this conference, being an accessibility conference, is about bringing awareness to our government. And the more that we can spread that awareness, the more people are going to start to be thinking about other people. And I agree. I've heard that Zoom is the better platform for meetings. It works well with live interpreters. So I think, yeah, just the more the word gets out, the more the need, the more voices, the more people fighting for other people, saying, hey, maybe we should use Zoom for our meeting, we have for our conference. I think that's a great suggestion.
Thank you for that question.
Can you explain ASL? Just say that ASL is not like a word-for-word interpretation.
Yeah, so she said,
Yeah, please.
American Sign Language, it's a language that relies on non-manual markers, body language, the use of your face, eyebrows, signs. English is a spoken language using your voice. So English is a linear language, where ASL does not translate word for word. It's more contextualized, meaning that there might not be a word that maybe have a one-to-one interpretation, so there may be some expansion that needs to be done to make that an equal interpretation. For example, with Spanish, it is a spoken language and something kind of similar. There's no word-for-word correlation between those two spoken languages.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please be careful. Thank you.
I discovered that there is a state contract that has locked-in pricing for ASL translation and art services. You can't see the prices in the contract, you'll have to contact the vendors that are approved in that contract, but I do plan to follow up on that and see what the pricing would be to have those services, at the very least at our board of commissioners.
Thank you, Nicole.
Wonderful, thank you.
Good morning. My name
morning.
is Tim Atkinson. I'm with the North Carolina Credit Union Division. I've been working with Elizabeth and her team converting our website over to Digicomms. I have 3 separate questions, so bear with me. One revolves the WAG as it relations to DubBot. The WAG in it states that your public-facing website should be at a 8th grade level reading. Is that correct?
The WAG?
Is that
Oh, okay.
I call it the WAG, not the WCAG.
That's fun. Okay. I've never heard that one.
So is that correct, if I remember correctly?
There's no official guideline yet that says it must be at a certain reading level.
Okay.
We do expect that to come out at WCAG 3.0, which
Okay.
is going to be still a couple years away. It's more of a usability,
Yeah.
so that everybody
Exactly.
can understand.
How would DubBot recognize that we need to change our language?
So, sorry, it was not on a second ago. I'll show you in the room where every single page in DubBot will tell you at what reading level the content sits. And I will tell you all, a lot of them are master's levels.
Oh, boy.
So that is, Ms. Piccioni, something I use AI for. If we find content that's at a master's level, I'll cut and paste it and put it in AI and say, can you please rewrite this at an 8th grade level or whatever? And it does work.
Okay. The second question is regarding PDFs. We currently have Adobe a license, and Adobe in itself has a check accessibility report. How does that relate to DubBot in their accessibility report?
So the DubBot report can tell you whether or not tags exist on your PDF, and then Adobe,
Yeah, well, while it can tell you tags exist,
right.
that doesn't mean it's accessible. You still need human intervention to see, are the tags correct? Because if your document has a marked up header and it just marks it as bold, it's not going to let the user know that. So you want to double check that. You also want to make sure that if you use any kind of AI tool to do automated checking, that the alternative text on the images is correct. I'm sure you've all used PowerPoint, and it tries to be helpful and suggest image alt tags, and how many times has that been spot on? So right now, AI is still in that learning phase on, yeah, do you want to?
We're early. No, that's a great answer. Let me just quickly go back to the previous question, which was about the reading level. So there is a WCAG guideline. I just had to Google it. So it's a AAA level. WCAG SC 3.1.5. So, but that's a AAA guideline, and so the ADA from Title II says that states only have to go to up to the A and the AA success criterion. AAA is kind of above and beyond. Yeah, 2.1, A, and AA. AAA is above and beyond. But making your stuff readable for people with cognitive disabilities, if you can simplify it as much as possible, that's great.
But you're saying that's coming out in 3.0, is that correct?
No, so she mentioned WCAG 3. We have to test against WCAG 2.1. 3 is like way down the line.
Way down the line, okay. All right.
But what is the reading level for?
It doesn't say.
Oh, it doesn't say. Okay, sorry. I thought it was.
Lower, anyway, let's move on.
Okay. The third question is based off the previous lady's question. They were talking about Zoom. Is it still the standard, and I'm not sure if it's more of a question to the secretary than it is to this panel, is it still the standard that we cannot initiate Zoom because of security reasons? We can be a part of it, but not initiate it.
Not for us to
Secretary?
Yes, that is correct right now. We are reviewing it as well as a couple of other platforms that does have other accessibility, and there's a meeting I'm having December 2nd on that very topic. So I can let y'all know after the meeting on December 2nd.
All right, thank you.
So
Great questions, Tim. Thank you.
Question.
I know. It's
Hi, I'm Hannah. I work in this building in the Division of Environmental Assistance and Customer Service. And my question is kind of like the strategy for having like wide, broad acknowledgement of this issue, because I'm the only one on my team. I mean, Madeline's here too. Learning about these issues, but there's so many of us that have like Drupal editor access, and we're making new content all the time, and it's like no one else is remediating their PDFs and constantly putting stuff out there. So just wondering the strategy. I mean, I recently did the like web editor training, and there was like some mention of accessibility, but most of what I've been learning, like the PDF remediation, is like my own going out and finding it. So
Yeah. That's a great question, and I'm so glad that you took the web manager training. The reason why accessibility probably wasn't brought up a lot during the Drupal training for the platform is because it is accessible for the most part, and it is done for you. Kudos to you and your team member for taking on the PDF training. I wish this issue were more prevalent in our daily conversations with all agencies. We are doing our best by hosting this conference and putting out newsletters, and we write blogs on the Digital Commons site. I don't know if you have other things to mention, but we're trying to beat the drum and trying to make this much more top of mind for everyone. So I appreciate so much what you're doing, and I realize you feel like a lone soldier, but you're really not, because look around. You have, and we also have the accessibility community of practice. I'm sorry I didn't bring that up. Go ahead, Amy, sorry.
No, it's okay. I kind of blanking on what I was going to say. Oh, okay. Yeah, our service. So spreading the awareness of accessibility, you're onto it. And I think sharing the link to this conference, the YouTube link, that's one way. Getting just information out to people, it's going to kind of be a grassroots effort at this time. We need more management and executives to get on board as well. But another thing about the Digital Commons platform is we don't police it. We don't control and limit what goes onto it. What goes onto it is your responsibility and your risk, what you put on there. But where we can help is that Amy and I started an accessibility support service where we can have a consultation with you, sit down, and help you kind of look through your PDF library and answer any kind of technical questions. We even offer accessibility testing of web content. That's my favorite thing to do. So reach out to us. You can find us on ServiceNow.
okay,
Great
thanks.
questions, Hannah. Thank you.
I just
And
kind
I
of
think
worry
we have
about like the 2026 deadline with. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm like, the
Yes.
rest of our team is not aware of that, but
It's coming.
thank you.
It is coming.
As the date approaches, more and more people will be made aware. How much more time do we have? We have about 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
I'll be quick then.
Sure.
My name is Jake Thompson. I'm a business analyst at NCDIT. Part of the thing that my team does is assist in putting together procurement documentation for various vendors that are maybe going to provide software to the state. Some of what we put together, we develop diagrams, right, in Microsoft Visio, so flowcharts and stuff like that. We produce written narratives to go alongside of that stuff to help increase accessibility on that front, but often we provide that in the diagrams themselves as PDFs. Is that the best practice? Because we're trying to produce something that's not editable, but so we don't want to send the original source file. What's the right way to do that beyond the written narrative that goes with it?
Okay, so let me make sure I understood. So you're saying you have PDF forms?
Not forms, diagrams, so like visual aids.
What was the word?
Visio.
Oh, diagrams in PDF form. Okay. Yeah, so anytime you can produce web content that loads in a browser, HTML-driven stuff is always going to be better, easier to maintain, easier to build, easier to make accessible.
Sure.
So I would highly encourage that. When you have a complex diagram, you can still provide all the meaning of that diagram in a web page.
Sure.
And it's easier to maintain. If you use PDFs and you put all this complicated information in the PDF, you have to make that PDF accessible. Then when that diagram changes, you have to go back and re-remediate the PDF.
So part of
And it's much easier to do to change the web page.
Right, part of the issue is that it needs to not change. It
Needs to
be a
not change.
Static document,
Okay.
right. It's part of a packet that goes out to a vendor, right, that in the past would have been literally mailed and now we need to replicate that functionality as part of the
Gotcha.
procurement process.
Okay. Sure.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I
great.
think we're out of time.
I think that's time. We'll
So, oh, yeah.
All right, so one more thing. See, this is why, I get to stay here with my lovely team. Y'all are rock stars. So one thing to tell you is I will make sure that we are bringing it up to every other cabinet secretary, that we are beating the drum every other week to make sure that the message is being heard, as well as we will be a little bit louder and prouder on some of our websites and some of our blogs and information to make sure the message is getting out to not only each of you, but the teams you support and the people you support, because I think it's that important. So as we go, we'll work back to ensuring that we are continuing to drive the message home, as we want all of North Carolina accessible to everyone, no matter the disability or no matter what it's going to take. So y'all had some incredible content that we can now take back to look at and get some more frequently asked questions back out